Welcome everybody, Bruchim Habayim. We're now Erev Rosh Chodesh Elul. Tonight is Rosh Chodesh Elul, the first day of Rosh Chodesh. Sunday is the second day of Rosh Chodesh. Very special month, and special month for preparing ourselves for the next year, for Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. So we have to deal with principal things. So the month of Elul, in one sentence, in one word, is tshuva. So what do we have to do tshuva on what? That's not what. So trying a little bit in the Chassidus, in a joking way a little bit. I think we'll start with the Eibushter has to do tshuva. Everything he commands us to do, he has to do. So if he wants us to do tshuva, so he has to do tshuva also. What is this thing that he has to do tshuva on? It says in Gemara, there's three things Hashem regrets every day. Destruction of the temple, creating the Tzahora. So we are waiting so long for Mashiach. So the Rebbe has to do tshuva today and bring Mashiach. Not enough to sing, I'm doing tshuva. I'll tell you the truth, I'm coming now from a class teaching teenagers. And they asked me, I would say more very honest question, not so profound question. But at least we are talking about it for thousands of years about Mashiach. Mashiach is not here. How do we know this is going to happen? Why do we have to really believe in it? Especially that the Rebbe took so many years, looks like this doesn't come to an end. Where is this Mashiach that we are promised? In Shemini Esrei, in the Amidah, who was put together by the Anshei Knesset Agdela, at the time, the first base, between the first and the second Beis Hamikdash, and the second Beis Hamikdash, so 90% of the Amidah is talking about Mashiach. I'm not going to go through that, you go through yourself. Some things are very clear Mashiach, even the other things are not so clear. The completeness of that, for Refainu, Baruch Aleinu, only Mashiach will come. It's over 2,000 years, it's 2,000 years, call it, maybe just under. It's over 2,000 years, yes, because 1950 approximately, the destruction of the second temple, and that was 420 years earlier. So over 2,000 years that we're talking about Mashiach and asking for Mashiach, and nothing happening. I mean, nothing. I'm just saying practically, tachlis. Where's Mashiach? That's what I was asked the question. So I'm saying connecting it with the idea of tshuva. We have to do tshuva. The Rebbe Mashu Mitzav Yisrael last his way. So whatever Hashem commands the Jewish people to do, he does it himself. So he's to do tshuva also. And the Rebbe said we should bring a korban on Rosh Chodesh. We should bring a korban for the Rebbe that he made the moon smaller. One of the causes of, kabbalistically at least, for all the other problems we have. Okay. So that's the Eibush that the tshuva is to bring Mashiach now. Now, South means this second. But we also have to, the Rebbe said, we also have to do tshuva, also the idea of connection of Mashiach. So what is the idea of Mashiach here? Why does this schlep so long? From now on, there's no excuses. The Rebbe said everything that has to be accomplished is accomplished. Now Mashiach has to come. But what is really happening here? What is the idea here? What is schlepping so long? What do we know about? So let's go a step back. If a person doesn't believe in Mashiach, Chas v'shalom, he believes in the Eibushter, he believes in Torah mitzvahs, he learns Torah, he's doing mitzvahs, he's doing 100% everything. But Chas v'shalom, he doesn't believe in Mashiach, so the Rambam said he's an atheist. Rambam goes a step further. Even if he believes in Mashiach, but he's not waiting for Mashiach, he's mechakele. So let's say wants him and waiting for him, and also an atheist. Why? He believes in Mashiach. Talking about this second, if he doesn't wait for him. Mashiach come one day, but since he's sleeping for 2,000 years, so I don't know when it'll happen. He's not waiting for it anxiously. What came up another point, do we have to say that we believe Mashiach is coming now? Or we just have to want him to come now? But we cannot say for sure it's coming now. Because it says clearly that Nimamin, Afa Pishis Mamea, because even if he'll be delayed, I will wait for him. That means we know that there's the potential, the chance that he will be delayed. So in other words, we're not saying for sure he's coming now, but we're saying for sure he's coming, but I want him to come. I'm waiting for him. I'm really longing for him to come. That's what the life you have to live, kind of life. But you want him to come. That person is not waiting for Mashiach, then it's a problem. Problem is Holidishkeit. Why is it a problem in Holidishkeit? So, first thing we have to understand that, so somebody said, because we have to have a goal. Well, his goal is to learn Torah, to be a refined person, to be have Avas Yisrael, to do help other people, to make the world a better place. And then we'll go to Gan Eden. We'll be in Gan Eden. What do you need Mashiach for? So you'll say, okay, but in the Nevi'im, it said in Yeshayahu, speaks so much about Mashiach, the days to come, what will happen. So you're an atheist because you don't believe in the Nevi'im. Okay, that's a technical idea of what he doesn't believe in the Nevi'im. He doesn't believe so. Or especially in the, doesn't say it. He has to longingly waiting for him over there. Why would he have to really be longingly waiting for him? Why? He wants to be a good person, to live a good life, make the world a better place. He'll do everything possible to make the environment a better place, people, for Jews, for non-Jews. And then we'll go to Gan Eden after the age, whenever Hashem, as many years Hashem will give him, 100, 120, 180, whatever. And then we'll go. So the idea of, it says also in Rashi, in this week's Parsha, he brings a saying of our sages, somebody who does not live in Eretz Yisrael is Kimisha Ein Le'elaka. Somebody who doesn't live in Chutz La'aretz, like he doesn't have a God. What kind of extreme statement is that? Because he lives in Chutz La'aretz, he lives for Parnasa reasons, for marriage. Halachically, there's reasons when you're allowed to live in Chutz La'aretz. Somebody wants to learn Torah, especially that he could have a better yeshiva in Chutz La'aretz, you're allowed to go to Chutz La'aretz. To get married, find a shidduch in Chutz La'aretz, you're allowed to go to Chutz La'aretz. Why, if he doesn't live in Eretz Yisrael, what does it mean? It doesn't say like he doesn't have a God. He's the biggest believer in the Eibishter. He wants to be Mashiach, and he's waiting for Mashiach. So are we saying about that he's like a Jew that doesn't have a God? Where is this coming from? So let's go back to the, we're going to move out from the idea of Mashiach to one Mashiach. When a person believes in the Eibishter 100%, the Eibishter created the world and is creating the world, and the Eibishter is the only truth, and really Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, there's nothing beside the Eibishter. God is the only one, not only the only God, the only real existent, and he created the world, and he's created it constantly. And we are living in a false world where we think that the material, physical thing, that's a true existence. And godliness is like something in the air. That is something like he doesn't have a God. You have to, when you believe in the Eibishter 100%, that there's nothing beside the Eibishter, and the real existence of everything is the power of God that creates it, that's the real existence of the whole world, then it's not possible you shouldn't want Mashiach. Why is it not possible? Because we're living in a false reality that physical is a reality and spirituality is a non-reality, and therefore we are jealous. And if somebody has material things, physical things, but be jealous in spiritual things is fine. And there is anger because somebody offended you. So that means, right, you're living in a false reality. Gashmis is material, physical things is really nothing. Therefore, if he doesn't want Mashiach, means that he doesn't have the real belief in there's nothing beside the Eibishter, and Hashem is creating everything from nothing, and everything, the truth of everything is the power of God that's creating it. That's the truth of the existence of everything. Then it's not possible. He wouldn't want. Nobody wants to live a false life. Never mind if the negative things in a material world, there's jealousy and there's hate and there is war and there is all the different negative character traits and reality of negative. But we are talking about when a person believes in the Eibishter 100%. The Eibishter is the only real being, the only absolute truth. So of course he wants to live the true reality, not a false reality that has nothing to do with him. So that explains a little bit what we are saying. If a person doesn't believe in Mashiach, what means Mashiach is not believing that only a person will come and redeem us physically. Mashiach means that there will be a revelation of God and receive the whole world will be full of knowledge of the Eibishter. Never will come the recognition that there's nothing beside the Eibishter. That is the idea of Mashiach. So if he doesn't believe in that, means he doesn't believe that the Eibishter is the only one. There's nothing beside the Eibishter. And even if he believes in Mashiach, but he doesn't want it, means that he did not internalize that the only absolute truth. If you know what's the absolute truth, then you want to live a true reality, not a false reality. And then our whole life, not only the Mashiach cannot be the truth, our whole life, all your days of your life, to bring the Mashiach. So you are doing something now, not to bring Mashiach. Then your life is real, has an infinite value because you are bringing revelation of godliness in the world. So your life, your day, is to reveal the truth. So that it's connected to the Eibishter, and you are connected to the Eibishter. So you live a real life. Then life is worth living. It's worth living. Not I'm living for something of the Eibishter give us a prize, give us Mashiach. You're living a true reality that nothing ain't od milvado. There's nothing beside the Eibishter, especially as a Jew, that you have an neshama, it's a chelek of the Eibishter. So your being, your existence is an infinite quality of existence. So in a certain way, we have, when you, by wanting Mashiach, you have Mashiach already. It's your reality, you live with Mashiach already. You know what's the absolute truth. If to put it a little bit in extreme words, we have bringing up families. If the life is not designed to do real, absolute, infinite quality things of bringing the revelation of the Eibishter, so why should we bring children to the world to live in a false reality? In order they should be refined people. Or they have Gan Eden before that. They have a bigger piece of Gan Eden. When you're going to the purpose, you bring a child into the world because he is a contributor that only he could do, nobody else could do, to reveal the essence of the Eibishter in the world, and not only in the human species, in everything, in everybody. That's the absolute truth. So you're living out that reality now, while you're here, even before Mashiach comes. So therefore, the main idea of doing tshuva is the idea of tshuva means to return to the Eibishter, to return to that reality. There's nothing beside the Eibishter. I want to explain together with that another idea in connection to the idea of Mashiach. The Rabbi said, and it says in other sources for that also, if we would want Mashiach would have been here already. To a point that there is a commentary in Tanakh, I forgot this one to prepare it for things in the end of Divrei Hayamim. that there was a plague in the army base, in the army of David HaMelech. 30,000 soldiers died, not in war, in a plague. So the commentators say, why did they die? They died because they did not ask for building the Beis Hamikdash. So he continues. That was before they had the Beis Hamikdash, because they didn't ask for the Beis Hamikdash. Therefore, 30,000 soldiers died in plague, not in a war. So now, when we had the Beis Hamikdash, first and second, it was destroyed. If we are not asking Beis Hamikdash, how much more for sure? So it's not the right way. So let's understand, because they did not ask for the Beis Hamikdash, that's why the 30,000 soldiers who were devoted soldiers to David HaMelech, who lived a good life means a spiritual good life, a Torah life, and went to fight, put their life in danger for the purpose of the Jewish nation, had to died. What is the logic of that? So the explanation is again what they said. If a person is internalizing that the Eibishter is the only absolute truth, there's nothing beside the Eibishter, he cannot live a life, he doesn't want to live a life without the Eibishter, with the absolute reality of the Eibishter. And therefore he wants the Beis Hamikdash, but the Beis Hamikdash is revealed to the whole world that the Eibishter is the only absolute truth. So it's not a punishment. It's almost like saying if you don't live the true reality of life, then there is no life. And by wanting the Beis Hamikdash, not necessarily would have gotten it earlier, but then you're living a real life. You live a reality of godliness. Or the Eibishter creates you every moment, and you're a part of the Eibishter. Therefore, you have real life. So I'm saying you're dying physically or not dying physically is almost irrelevant. It's a question if your life is worth living, is worth it to be called life. I'm alive. Only when you are cleaved to the Eibishter, when your life is godliness, godliness is the only real life, then you're alive. If a person lives, maybe a person lives in a garbage can, and all what it is picking garbage and eating garbage. Call it alive. It's not life. That's worse than being dead. So the idea of you have to want Mashiach, and by wanting Mashiach, because if we want Mashiach, that'll help us to bring Mashiach. Why? Because by wanting of Mashiach means that you internalize that your life is really one with the Eibishter, that the only life is really God, the Eibishter. Then you want Mashiach. Then you're really living already in a certain way. That's what you want. And you don't want to live. You cannot wait for Mashiach to come. It means without the Eibishter, there's no life for you. Then you live a life because where your mind is, where your heart is, where your life is, with godliness, then you want Mashiach, and then you live Mashiach. So the question is, that's the case. Why is it so hard to ask to want with honestly and truly Mashiach? Again, wanting Mashiach doesn't mean that somebody has a problem in his bank account and therefore he wants Mashiach. Then he wants the bank account to be taken care of. Mashiach will take care of this. So I don't want Mashiach. It's maybe better than nothing. Even if you ask for Mashiach, when your bank account is in trouble, it's also a good idea, better than nothing. But that's not really what I want. Wanting Mashiach means you want Mashiach. You want that godliness should be revealed in the whole world, that the only true existence of everything, not only the Eibishter, only true existence, but everything is the power of God that creates it. So I would like to suggest that the reason why it's finding it hard to honestly and really wanting Mashiach, not when they have any trouble, but I mean have abundance of everything, physical abundance, spiritual abundance, naches, gesund, you should have everything, right? And money, all the brachas. But you still want Mashiach because that's the truth of life, and that without it, it's not the end of life. So how come it's so hard to want Mashiach? I'd like to suggest because subconsciously we understand that Mashiach is once be revelation of God, it will be the realization there's nothing beside God. So it means that my whole ego, my whole false existence, my animal soul will disappear. But that's all I know about my existence. That's my reality of existence. So who wants to disappear, not exist? In other words, the ultimate nullification of bittul to likus, of complete devotion, commit non-existent beside the idea of your devotion to the Eibishter, is in wanting Mashiach. That's what manifests itself. That's the highest level, deepest level. There's no selfishness whatsoever, because there'll be completely no self. The shining completely, there's nothing beside the Eibishter. And therefore, that idea of nullification is hard to get. But at the same time, the Eibishter that's what the Rabbi said is expected from our generation, to want Mashiach, to demand Mashiach. And the Rabbi says, we see it's coming hard. And that's what the Rabbi explains. So I see the Rabbi explaining why he's pushing so much idea for Mashiach for so many years. Because we see it's coming hard to get the people to want Mashiach, to live with Mashiach. In other words, we need all the time. But we're getting there. We're getting better and better at that. In other words, we're becoming better and better at the idea of revealing the essence of our neshama. But the only essence of the neshama could really want Mashiach. Why? Because the essence of the neshama is absolutely one with the Eibishter. It's not an arrogant, selfish, separate entity of existence. His whole idea is completely honest expressing the Eibishter. The essence of the neshama is one with the essence of the Eibishter. And that's the shlichus of our generation, to reveal in our generation. And that means the idea of tshuva, to return to your real essence, who we are. And that's what the Aveda in the month of Elul is, to reveal that idea. And yes, saying what the Parsha is called Re'ei. Re'ei, see, Nechi Neisen Lifnechem Hayem Bracha, and so on. You should see. So first of all, the one pshat is saying that Hashem is giving us, Moshe is giving us the ability to see. Seeing is the ability when you can see the essence of the idea. And what should you see? Let's say Anechi. Anechi is the highest level of the essence of the Eibishter. The first word Hashem appeared in the Ten Commandments on Har Sinai, right? It was Anechi Hashem Elokecha. Anechi Mishanech, I am who I am. That lays samet is not be hinted, not in any word, not in a letter, nor in any case. So the idea of starting the month of Elul with the Parshas of Re'ei Anechi, see godliness. And what level of godliness? That's Anechi, the essence of the Eibishter. Neisen Lifnechem. Moshe Rabbeinu is saying it, I'm giving you, according to one pshat, the ability to see the essence of the Eibishter in ourselves. And not because we are such a great people, because we are a continuation of generations from before in history, where every generation did their level and they went to a high level and a higher level. And we are like a midget on top of a giant, came to the idea that we could reveal now the absolute essence of the neshama. Manifests itself practically, for the idea of so many people becoming Balei Tshuva. Why? Living in the world of abundance of material, physical things, and still we see the people doing Tshuva, more Balei Tshuva than ever before. Why? Because we have to all the Aveda service and the Mesilas Nefesh, sometimes all the generation, that we reveal the Etzem and Neshama. So we are looking at another Jew today, what the Rabbi wants from us. Look at another Jew is part of the Eibishter, is one with the Eibishter. That's how you approach him. And you approach him that way means you're approaching his absolute essence of the Neshama. And now you could we're in a time where we could get to the essence of the Neshama of a Jew, to reveal the essence of the Neshama of the Jew. And that's why we'll be able to want Mashiach, honestly, want Mashiach. And the idea of Abbas Yisrael, again, the love for another Jew, doesn't make a difference who it is. If you realize that he is part of the essence of the Eibishter. And from the essence point of view, as we mentioned one time before, the biggest tzaddik and the biggest opposite of a tzaddik, the same thing from the essence point of view of the Eibishter. Then your whole approach to another Jew is different. And your whole approach is different to him, and the same whole approach to yourself. That you know that you are part of the essence of the Eibishter. Then you're not afraid to be humble, because you're part of the Eibishter. And the Eibishter loves you, as the Baal Shem Tov says, like parents have in the older age their only child. And another place the Rabbi is saying that's infinitely more than that. So then you could afford to be humble. So the question is, if that's the case, that the Eibishter is giving us this Shabbos, the Chodesh Elul, beginning of Elul, that you could see godliness. In other words, the conviction of the absolute of godliness is not in a way of like saying you hear something and you understand something, you appreciate it. It's like you're seeing it. Seeing it is the deepest level of conviction. It manifests itself in different halachas also. And what do you see? Not only you see that there's Ashgacha Pratis, divine providence, but that's also like seeing godliness in a way. But you see on Eich, you see the essence of the Eibishter manifest itself in yourself and in different people. And the Eibishter is giving it a Neisen Lifneichem, is giving it in front of you. He's giving it to you Neisen Meloshen Matone, the present. A present means he gives it wholeheartedly, the best. And he gives it Lifneichem in front of you, inside yourself. In other words, the whole purpose of history was to come to that level of our generation has to finish off the revealing of the absolute essence of the oneness of a Jew with the Eibishter. And everything from beginning of history was starting to go in that direction. Every, I would say, generation accomplished what they have to accomplish and going to a deeper level and a higher level. No generation stays in the same place. Every generation goes in a deeper place. And our generation is the generation that's expected to do not only finish, to say everything is, the credit is given to one who finishes off. Everything goes after the finishing up. Yes, so it's a good word. But why is going to after finishing up? Other people did much more the work. I did a little kind of thing. Why is it I should get the credit? Because in the last step has to be a manifestation of the absolute essence of the Jew with the Eibishter. There is one, and the appreciation of the oneness of the Eibishter. There's nothing inside the Eibishter. And that's how it's connected also by the Mashiach told the Baal Shem Tov that when will Mashiach come, the new wellspring. What is the wellspring of Mashiach? That's exactly the idea that the Jew is one with the Eibishter. And the teaching of Chassidus is talking about revealing the essence of the Eibishter and the essence of the Jew. And that's where there's the idea of Baal Tshuva. So the whole idea of our generation, yes, it's a little job to finish off, but to finish off the little job of expressing the essence connection between us and the Eibishter. And to the Erev Chodesh Elul, we get the Keach, Freit Asidi Onechi. The Nechi is the essence of the Eibishter, and the Onechi is the essence of the Jew. That the essence of the Jew and the Eibishter are one. And then you see that the bracha, everything that's happening in your life, and what looks even the opposite way, is completely coming from the Eibishter and helping you to reveal the absolute essence of your neshama and to bring the revelation of Mashiach right now. This sehen sich mit dem gut gash mit der Mata Masot Wochen Ruhig alleine. Good Shabbos and call to Mashiach now.